Morning traders, this is your Dax daily review. So we're going to be switching to a different strategy that I utilize, and I'll do a detailed video on this on the weekend, but there is one which is called the simple trading strategy on my channel, which is basically what this is. There are just a few elements that I've added to it over the last couple of months while I've been testing it. So I'll talk through them as we go, but essentially it's just a moving average strategy with stochastics, two stochastics and a Williams percentage R. These two indicators are just that, indicators, indicating when buyers or sellers are stepping in at a level. Okay, your levels are still the critical part of this strategy. Anyway, so we've had this long move up. Okay, it's pretty much sort of a month and a bit that we've had this move up. Then we've had this that I'm just going to call it consolidation. I referred to this as a pullback, a three-part pullback. So 1, 2, 3 pullback. That's a correction phase. Those of you familiar with Elliott's wave, that's kind of the theory of Elliott's wave. You have a single move, and then you have a three pullback, and then you have another single move, and then pullback. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at right now. I would prefer it to come down to actually touch levels, and I think I'll just double check. I think maybe we did touch this on the one day, but be that as may. What we do have is we've got a crossover our moving average on the daily, which is typically bearish. Okay, but the only way that I'm going to be convinced that it's bearish is a break below the tail of this bar, or a daily close below this. Okay, so you can see how we had a breakthrough here. You can see there we had a retest. So after the end of that day, you'd be looking for a short at a break below this, and up there is a long. Next day we had an inside bar and then a rally. Okay, so kind of looking at the same thing here, and I think just pay attention to these oscillators and where price turns, because that's the critical part. Right, let's just get to the 4 hour, because there's something very interesting here. So yesterday I pointed this wedge out, wedge or channel, depends which way you wanted to look at it. Okay, so there was my wedge. We had a bit of a break up above it, we had a break, and we've come back and retested it. Or alternatively, you could see it just as a channel. Okay, so I think the way the 4 hour has gone, closed out of it, it's looking like it is a channel. Okay, again, look at the oscillators here. Okay, it wasn't a nice grouping. I'm always looking for a grouping where they're on top of each other, but nevertheless, it was a grouping, grouped in the buy zone and crossed over. Took some time, but for some reason we rallied on the US market into the close. So that's kind of the situation I see. Now, if I come to the daily, big rally, correction, okay? Are we going to get a second move? Now, that second move to the upside is massive. It's 1,100 points. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind with whatever trades you're taking. And now if we go down to the lower time frame to see what we can do today, you can see what's holding up price now. So the 200 EMA is holding up price, and then I can guarantee you that the 200 SMA, which is a little bit further up, is also going to hold up price. Until we get through those two areas, the trend is pretty much still to the downside, but there are a lot of warning bells here. Switching back to the 4 hour, you can see the 200 SMA and EMA playing a big role in what's going on here. Okay, now strategy for this moving average strategy, or the way to play the moving average strategy, is to wait for the pullback. Okay, I've got a crossover here. I want to pull back to come and test the break. So the break will be of levels as well as of the moving average. I want to see it come back, test this area, then that's my signal for a long. Okay, now if I put my levels in, there's my first level. It's an inside tail there, and that would be my ideal level right there. Okay, So these are 11991 and 12047. Those are the two levels I'm looking at. If we come to the hour, you'll see my stochastics here are indicating that we could be a little bit tired. We can't get through the 200. Moving averages are far apart, so it's looking like we're going to get a bit of a pullback. Okay, now if you're awake, you'll see that this move down, up, down is also a double bottom. Okay, it's a double bottom, and you know the way we always want to play these double bottoms is we want to see a pullback to come and test the neckline. That's the neckline, and then a rally. Now that rally, or that target, should I say, is 200 points. Okay, so looking at the hour, you can see we are relatively tired at the moment, so it's indicating that there should be some kind of a pullback, or even just sideways motion while the oscillator rolls over, comes down to the bottom here. What we're looking for is this kind of thing. You can see, rally. Okay, so, and you can see here's another one here, grouping to downside, little diversions there. That's 1, 2 signals, inside bar 3 signals, and we kind of rallied a little bit. Okay, so anyway, that's the overall, the bigger view that I have at the moment. And we do have this gap magnet to the upside as well, which is also going to draw price up. But I still believe we're going to come back. Now, if you look at the half hour, you can see we've broken through the 200 moving average. So, you know, a logical thing to me would come back and test this break. And look where the break is, right on this level of 12047. Okay, now just bear in mind your stop is all the way down here. So your stop area is down here, which is 11,860. Now that in itself, provided we get to here, I mean that's almost a 200 point stop loss. Okay, so, but this move into the close is, I mean, this is buyers. You can see this is buyers stepping in and then holding. They didn't sell out. They didn't take profit. A few people took profit, but most of the people are still in this trade. So I'm looking for the next bit of consolidation or alternatively the pullback. Okay, the converse of all of this is pretty much a break above 12,112. If we get a break above that, then I would take the long, but I would have a stop loss. Pretty much here. What's this? 12,080. So break above 12,112. So that would give me a 35 point stop loss. Okay, but then my target is this gap, because at the gap I expect sellers to step in. Maybe short-lived, it may be long, you don't know, but definitely profit taking will happen at that gap. At that point, we would take profit, either take a quick short scalp down to the downside to come and test this break, or even better, come all the way down to one of these two levels that I'm looking for. Okay, so those are the two scenarios. If we do come down to the downside, look for an entry around 12,047. If it gets through 12,047, don't panic, keep your position small, have your stop wide, okay, because then I suspect we're going to come down to the next level, which would probably be this one here, 11,991. Okay, before we sign off, let's just quickly go across to the Ichimoku. Ichimoku is always a good trend change signal. So you can see here, we broke through the cloud. We have not come back to test the cloud. And if you look at Kijinsen and Tenkan-sen, they are very far apart, and that is a danger. You don't want to be long when you see this. You want to wait for price to come back to Kijinsen or the cloud, and then you're looking for your long. Okay, so your levels from an Ichimoku perspective are the flat cloud, Kijinsen, and where are we? Probably around there, the cloud itself. Okay, so you can actually keep a narrower stop on the half hour. Your stop can be below the cloud here. If we go to the 1 hour, you can see same thing. We've had a big breakthrough of a cloud, which is fairly bullish. Chico Span's not through the cloud, so that's not bullish. We did get a bit of a crossover, but Kijits and Seekers are running flat at the moment, so that indicates range. Cloud is flat, so that indicates range. So we want to see, definitely want to see a pullback. I want to see a pullback back onto, and you can see how nicely the 1 hour cloud lines up with our levels here. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want to see this pullback onto the cloud, build a base here, get long, stop below the cloud. Okay. And if you look at the 4 hour, you can see for all intents and purposes right now, the 4 hour is still in a downward trend. And if I look at the oscillator on the 4 hour, this is indicating we should be looking for another move to the downside. I'm a bit skeptical about that because of the size of this candle. This is a big engulfing candle. I mean, we've taken out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've taken out 10 previous 4 hour bars with this rally, and that's a strong move. Okay, and then looking at the 4 hour, you can see the cloud is going to offer resistance. So until we get through the cloud, yeah, the trend is technically down on the higher time frame. So you want to get through the cloud like here. Okay, and sometimes it doesn't come back to test the cloud, although this is pretty much a test of the cloud. It's coming back towards the cloud. Okay, anyway, that's kind of my view for today. Let's get back to strategy. So really looking for a pullback of sorts, and just look for the different levels. And I think this area here is what we're looking for, is around 1200. Okay, give or take 50 points to the downside. That's what we're looking for our entry, and that should give us, in my view anyway, a second move. Okay, and my second move is going to be on the daily for this rally here. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me today. Definitely looking for a long entry somewhere along the lines. There are going to be short scalps available. Don't be afraid to take them. Just get your levels in and take those short scalps. But look for this pullback. Once the pullback is completed and building itself a base, get in for your long and try get in early so that you can move your stop to entry, and then you've got a free trade and you can just let it run. Anyway, that's it for me today. I hope it helps, and I'll catch you later. Cheers for now.